Like a fat guy putting on shots, you split your sides at Thursday Thoughts.
And welcome back. What a great win by the Tigers. I don't know what I've done with my scarf. I think I've lost it. I've thrown it on the roof. I've been doing backflips for the last hour. It is exciting stuff. This could be the Tigers' year. Anyway, back to where we were up to. Now, as I was saying, Robbo. Got rid of Sloan. Shit. The fuck was he doing? We did mention that Cochin was his number one player. Well, points-wise, not so flash tonight. So, move on to the key points about Robbo's team. We've already covered the fact that this is the second year in a row that he's fucked it up by sending old Rory Sloan on his bike. Okay, where are we up to? Right, point 2, Robbo. Got a great forward line. Nicky Revolt, gun. He's a gun all the time. How can you not love Nick Revolt? Taking one of the greatest marks in AFL history ever, bar none. Brendan Goddard, his teammate at the time, now at the Bombers. Robbo would be hoping to hell that he actually bangs on some serious points. I genuinely think that all the players getting off will actually help Goddard because he's never been great when tagged, so I think he could be breathing a sigh of relief here. Lukey Bruce, Lukey Bruce. Nah, if he continues on that curve upwards, he could see a 100 plus average season coming up. Big Coon Dog, Adam Cooney, he's just a proven performer. As long as they can get him out in the park, he's going to score points. And Eddie Betts. Now, Eddie Betts can be pretty up and down, but the thing about Eddie, on his week, he could probably win you the game on his own. He'll bang in 4 or 5 goals, get about 6 or 7 tackles, 130, 140 points. If they come at the right time, they can be very, very handy. Point 3 about Robbo's team. Very, very shallow midfield. He's into the tail, as they would say in cricket, by about midfielder number 4. Ooh, he's batting very shallow. He's stacked that midfield with bowlers. It'd be fair to say. All right. Now, I thought long and hard about the rating for Robbo's team because, you know, Robbo's a good bloke. So I've bumped him up a couple of notches to where he probably actually really is. He's a rating of a C+. For the first time ever in the Thunderdome, Robbo's actually been given a top draft pick. And he's squandered it a little. He didn't know what he was doing. He's gotten all the way up to the front of the room and just panicked. I don't know what he was doing. With so many quality young forwards on offer this year, that was probably the one area you could have afforded to, you know, be a little bit thin on the ground. But he's decided to stack up with forwards. I reckon old Robbo's probably had one too many hits off the glue bag up north when he was making some of these selections. The only thing for Robbo is that the final system may actually suit him because while on average he might have a pretty ordinary team, he's got some serious scoring potential in that lineup. He could be banging out some big, big scores. I'll tell you what, I'll go out on him and say that Robbo will probably get the highest score for the entire season. So you can fucking mark that one down in your little book. We'll come back and see that at the end of the season. If he can get 2 or 3 of those weeks going together and scrape into the finals at the end, ooh, there's a chance. Not likely, but there's a chance. Now, move on to last year's champion, Haydos, the champ from the Orient. Oh, don't we love Haydos across the pond here? They call him the White Godzilla over there. Whew. Alright, top 3. Mickey Barlow, Steele side bottom, and Heath Shaw. That's a solid top 3, especially Heath Shaw. He probably could be the best defender in the comp this year, points-wise. We'll look at the bottom 3. Voston, he was real solid tonight. I reckon he can get some serious scores this year. Angus Monfils, well, he's done. Angus Monfils is done. Let's just put it out there. His career's over. I would be very surprised if he plays more than 5 games this year. Mark that one down. Cam O'Shea, probably the same boat. He has some pretty good scoring potential, but how the hell does he force his way into that Port lineup? Not too sure. Key points. Very, very high quality, but a very, very shallow list. His top 18 are absolutely supreme, but that's it. With the new format, he could really struggle if he gets a couple of outs. His bench is pretty much irrelevant. I mean, O'Shea, Monfries, come on, let's be real. They're nobodies. He may actually have a slow start to the season. Some of his really good players, including Barlow, including old Essendon mate, old Stanton, old Birchall, they've had a few injury setbacks, had a few not being able to play pre-season match setbacks. He could be a little slow out of the blocks this year, but I reckon he could fly over like a fucking steam train, just like last year, run over the top of everybody. The other problem Hayden's got is the lack of a genuinely good captain. Now Barlow will probably get the job done, maybe side bottom if Barlow's not picking up the slack, but they're not real solid captains. They're not 120, 130 style captains that you're really looking for week in, week out. He could find himself switching between the two and getting caught on the hop. He'll be relying on revolving that captaincy around a fair bit. We'll see how that goes. I'm kind of hoping it all falls apart, for him, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I'm not sending money overseas again. It's fucking hell. The economy's struggling enough as it is without sending all that fucking cash overseas. Alright, overall rating for Hayden, B+. Let's be honest. He was Skyping it in. He was sitting there in his jocks, drafting over the internet. Considering that he drafted with no study, no material, and no visibility of the actual draft board, he once again proves that he is one of the genuinely elite coaches in this league. I'll tell you what, just does it year in, year out. Don't know how the boy does it. Very well done, Haydos. Now, we move on to Matty. Top 3. Ward, Kennedy, Nick Natanui. I'll be real interested to see how Nick Nat goes in this new scoring format, to be honest. He's going to have to get a few more marks, a few more kicks if he's going to want to score well. His bottom 3. Lee Spur, who has had, let's be honest, a shite pre-season. Andreas Everett, who's had a shite life. Ricky Pettard, who's got a shite haircut. Key points. Let's be honest. Matt is probably just making up the numbers this year. We've expanded the competition to 14. When that happens, things just get a little bit thin. The talent pool gets a little bit diluted, and this is sort of the result of that. When you look at Matt's team, he's truly been exposed in his first year without an early draft pick. He just hasn't got the medal for it. I mean, you saw him, he was sitting at the back of the draft, he was whinging, he was yawning, it was fucking embarrassing, let's be perfectly honest. He really needs Lachie Neale to deliver the goods. He needs guys like Lachie Neale, Jared Polak. They are going to salvage his midfield. Those two have got some serious potential to go up this year. They could be his saviour. Point 3 really hurts me. Matt De Boer is like the Herp. He just keeps hanging around. Can't get rid of him. How has he managed to get a gig on another team's list this year? Matty fucking De Boer. You guys just aren't going to learn. Give a young lad a chance. Do something. Fucking Matty De Boer. The not flying Dutchman is fucking shite. Get him out of your team. Alright. Matty's rating, a D-. I'll tell you what, Matty is actually living proof that even with the snake draft, which is designed to give an even chance to everybody, A late draft pick can be disaster for some people. I mean, he was almost nodding off by the time he had his first pick. Now, we move on to the last four. Down to the last four. Callum, his top three are seriously, seriously good. Tommy Rockcliffe, Rory Sloane and Andrew Swallow. His bottom three are seriously, seriously rubbish. Lewis Jetta, Brandon Matera and Jeffy Garlett. Oh, crikey. Key points. He's very, very top heavy. He will be carried along by superstars because his top five are equally as good as his bottom five are equally as bad. He is a freaking dumbbell. He's really good at one end and really shit at the other. He's got the worst forward line in the league, but he's actually got a worse forward line than Steve, which is actually saying something. Matera, Jetta, Garlett, Walters. This is the sort of team Robbo's used to running out against on the weekend up at Karratha. The key to a good year will be the assistance of Rich, Shields and Wallace to ably help his superstars in the midfield. Average showings by them on a weekly basis could result in some average showings by Cal M on a weekly basis. Rating, a B. Certainly capable of going all the way with this team. He has so much firepower. But will hopefully be able to plug up all the shitholes currently leaking a stink all over his forward line. He's got to find something. A tarp or something. Just somebody put some mats down or some newspaper or something. Just soak up that stench because that forward line is seriously stinking it up. Andy, top three. Jordan Lewis, love the guy. Dion Prestia, superstar in the making. Robbie Gray, going. Bottom three. Mzungu, who isn't actually that bad. Broughton is poo. And Liam Picken is probably not even going to be there by the end of this round in Andy's team, I would hazard a guess. Key points. Beast midfield. Beast. Absolutely sensational midfield. He's got Travis Boak and Jack McRae at M4 and M5, M8. We'll need every bit of that midfield. Seriously dubious backline. Haynes should not be the main man in any defence. Not even GWS. He's very, very weak in the ruck also. He's got shithouse ruck and no backup. Clark isn't even the main ruck in his own team, let alone Andy's. I'm smelling a loophole city coming up with Andy's ruck division this year. I give him a rating of a B+. Now, let's be honest, we all stood around and we laughed at his team on draft night. We looked at it, we poked holes in a couple of players and we had a good old chuckle, it was good. But when you break it down, piece by piece, you take the shit defence out of the mix. It's clearly the worst defence in the league. The rest of the team is really, really solid. He'll loophole that ruckman all fucking year if he has to. Love his midfield. Clearly his little robot app that he built was, whilst cute, a little bit biased towards picking midfielders because he's ended up with 7 of the best. Can work on some balance for that for next year. It could be almost unstoppable. Andy, well done. Now, jeez. Now we head on to the commission's team. Now we're going to see the best team in this whole place here. Top 3. Ryan Griffin, superstar. Dyson Heppel, superstar. Luke Parker, this year's Brownlow medalist. Listen when I talk. This year's Brownlow medalist, Luke Parker. The bottom 3 probably a little bit weak on the ground. Christian Salem, Sammy Wright, still don't even know why he got picked up. And number 3, Benny Griffiths. Now, whilst this was put together well before tonight's game. Big Ben, if he's going to be one of the bottom three in that team, he could be, Jupus, this team could almost be a juggernaut waiting to happen. Key points. He's strong in the top half of every single line on the ground. Elite players at the very top of each line. Simpson, Parker, Stephen Martin, and of course the big fucking Budweiser. Each of those leading their own lines amicably. Unfortunately, in each one of those lines, very good at the top end, a little bit suspect in the bottom half of them. You've got a lot of punts that he's taken on some young guys, the likes of Langford and Aish and Christian Salem. Fingers crossed some of those can come off for the commish. You go, once again, he's just going fucking rock happy. I don't know what it is. It might just be because he's a fucking short ass and he's got got a thing for tall bastards in his team, but what more can you expect when you look at the commissioner's team? There's only one ruck position on the field and he's got 3 gun rucks in his team. Always stocks up on them. Once again, fucking nice set, Stephen Martin and Zach Smith. He is loaded to the fucking back teeth in ruckman. Rating A. Always manages to draft well. Or so he thinks. The reality will generally settle in by about round 4 or 5 when he's looking at his team and he fucking can't cobble together anything. We'll see how it goes, but in initial stages of the draft, real solid team put together by the commish. Now, last but not least, fucking Willow, the fucking Willow. Top 3, Dangerfield, Westhoff, and Loby. Fucking 2 Port players and a Crows. It's all South Australian combo there. Bottom 3, fucking real serious stylings here. Bunteen, Spanger and Conker. Now, I'll be honest, I've looked at Williams' team at the start of the round and has he lost interest already? He hasn't even fucking filled all his places. I don't know what is going on, honestly. How many boys are going to fucking talk to this kid? Key points. He is only new. Give him a break. Well, I'll tell you what, you fucking want to set your team properly or you could find yourself on your fucking ort. He probably won't post any rubbish scores with that team. It's a very good quality team. Without being brilliant, hasn't got a lot of firepower, but certainly not going to produce too many shite scores this year. Probably could teach Steve a thing or two about drafting and fantasy footy as well, because Williams has never played the game and he's given Steve an absolute bath at the draft table. Overall rating, just a solid C. I was super impressed with his dedication and effort on draft night. He was brilliant. Certainly got in the spirit of the event and is embracing it like a true domie. Yeah, I don't know what's going on since then, because draft night was all up and about. I'm looking at his team and there's a few fucking holes in it this week. I'm guessing he will, if he can grasp the caper of this whole fantasy footy thing, he could push right up next year. Or now, got some late breaking news in off the social media. South Australian Police have actually requested the assistance of the Thunderdome and Thursday Thoughts with Eddie Anchor from all the public and all our viewers. Since it's one of our own that's apparently gone missing, they've requested our help, so we will look into helping any way we can. Now, the police have sent through this fact sheet. Basically reads, the police are concerned that young Andrew has gone missing and they're unable to locate him. He hasn't been outside of his house for close to 4 weeks now, and our coppers are getting a little bit concerned. His family and friends, they haven't seen him. His workmates haven't seen him, hasn't been to work for 4 weeks. He hasn't been and seen his mates for 4 weeks. Hasn't been indoor soccer for about 4 weeks. So if anybody comes across Andrew, please call Crime Stoppers on 1800 666 999. That's 1800 666 999. Now, before we finish up the show, I'd like to say thank you very much for sticking with us. As you probably see, new format this year. We're going to try and focus on a lot more content base for this show, rather than all pretty fucking backgrounds and video editing and all that sort of shizent. As per usual, we're going to have our standard guests in on a weekly basis, but I actually quite like this. I mean, it's a pretty neat setup. You get to hang the old Thunderdome shield up so we can have a fucking gander at that on a week-to-week basis. I can see the commissioner's name going straight on there at the end of the year. Other than that, thank you very much for the first episode, for tuning in. We'll be back next week with a far shorter version. I didn't realise it was going to go 2 parts and this long. Have a great week and good luck with your fantasy footy.